working more on the abandoned man narrative. And before we go into today's session, I'm going to play a little bit of something that a woman had shared. She shared her perspective on this matter. So I'm going to let the other co-host into the studio, and then we'll all listen to a little bit of this and continue from there. I hope your week has been good so far. Okay.
Right. So your wife is the glass. Your wife is like a glass.
You can hear, right?
Pour in clean water, and you pick up that glass to drink, like drinking clean water. If you pour in dirty water, and you pick up that glass to drink, you're going to drink dirty, contaminated water. But who poured it in? You. What is the husband? It's from the word husband. You are not a nurturer. Scripturally, you are meant to nurture your bride. She has been brought to you as a bride, presented to you as your bride, as your helpmate. But what is she coming to help you do? You first of all have to have a sense of focus, a sense of direction, a sense of who you are before you bring in this woman into your life. But if you have issues and you've not understood who you are as a man as your identity as a man, if all you see marriage and fatherhood as is just that you're a provider, and it's not just financial provision. You should provide spiritual cover for that woman and the children. Protect them. Nurture them. What you put in is what you get out. If you put in clean water, you drink clean water. If you put in dirty water, you get dirty water. It's the same glass cup. It's like grandma's mom. Tony was saying those things. And you're wearing and yielding that crown wrong. Everything is going to be messy. So, especially if you have examples. Especially. And that's actually what we want to point out. That really, really, you know that even when we say, okay, a lot of men are finding themselves in this position because it is also, do you know that really, what I would like for us to do is to not even blame them directly. Because really, if somebody has been watching the wrong model, and that is what they've seen over and over and over, what do we really expect them to do? That is why Tony was saying those things. I want you to understand that you've been seeing it wrong and now we're doing it wrong. That's why Tony was saying those things. We're doing it wrong. So let us not take that position. But that's where education comes in. That's where exposure comes in. That's where you listen to podcasts on parenting. You listen to podcasts on fatherhood. You read books on fatherhood. You get knowledge. You educate yourself. You improve yourself. That's the whole point. You don't just sit down and say the woman should be the one reading self-help books and books on motherhood and books on parenting. Well, that's what it's been. That's what it's been all these years. So you don't get to the end and you don't find this out. You're dealing with human beings. Human beings thrive on emotions. And that's actually the whole point of the whole thing. Thrive on emotions. And if you have not nurtured those emotions, well, how do you expect it to bear any fruits? So there's no surprise that what is happening is happening. You know? And now is not the time to be pointing fingers and blaming. Now is actually the time to look at, oh my goodness, this is the reason why we've been having these things. Okay.
All right. Now should stop, right?
And once we go.
What do you think? I should stop, right?
Yes, of course.
Of course, we're beginning to set the agenda. You're beginning to set the agenda. You're beginning to tailor our perception.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Let me correct.
Don't do that.
I saw that coming.
No, let me
Don't
try
do
and correct.
that.
let me try and correct this. I didn't
No,
jump
no,
in straight to the house.
just let it go. Just let it flow. Don't set the agenda, please.
By doing what? By playing this thing I played?
No, not the playing. The subsequent
My opinion.
perspective from you.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that's the way that you perceive it. I had no intention of setting any agenda. I thought that that would be helpful. Maybe you can profile your own opinion and your own perspective instead. Why don't you do that?
No, I'm not. For now, I'm not setting an opinion.
All
Anytime
right.
we have an intellectual discourse, we will give our intro step upon step, precept upon precept. It's scriptural. We are not going to jump the scripture now.
I hear you.
We
I
have
hear you.
bishop in our midst. They've taught us.
I hear you.
So,
So okay,
uh-huh.
so what I was
All
going
right.
to
Can I quickly say something, please?
all right,
Go ahead,
Hello.
Shaya.
go ahead.
Yes, Shaya, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. From the get go, the intro or the sound bite that you gave us now,
Yes.
I love that perspective from the woman, but I would have loved it to be balanced. Equilibrium or balance is essential in journalism. You do not bring one angle, leaving the other angle. That's why when they say something, after doing an interview, they said all effort to reach the other party has not been fruitful. It must be, noted.
Put out.
So back to
Must be
it now.
put
You
out.
have given us from the woman's perspective. I love that.
Mm,
But the truth of the matter is this: it takes two to tango. You do
mm,
not say a man should be all and sundry and that. That is good. Husbandry, yes. Maturity, accommodation, and nurture. That's what makes a man. That's what makes an husband. But do not forget, there's the role of a woman. You understand? I don't know that place in the book of a proverb that talks about virtuous woman. You understand? Now,
Proverbs
in that
31.
whatever, the prism of the scripture or the angle that the woman gave us, do not forget that times have changed. Most women are wounded before meeting their husband, and most men are not trained to accommodate the wound or the already battered, emotionally battered woman. We are programmed to like, okay, I'm a good person. I should naturally attract a good person. And if I'm not going to attract a good person, I should be able to attract somebody that I can manage, not somebody that has gone, that has been battered beyond life. There are some people that nature has created to accommodate. They call them healers. In life, their soul is to heal, but it's not everybody that is to heal. Some of us, we are wounded too. We need somebody that will accommodate us, that will manage ourselves, and by so doing, we are evolving.
now you are making sense. Because I was like, what is he talking about? It's both parties, as always. Don't forget that. And
No,
I like the
if
way
you
you
miss
ended it.
that, if
I
you
like the
You
don't
way
get
didn't
you
it
allow
on
ended
him.
it.
time,
You didn't allow
I
him
must
to
have
finish.
elude you, but that does
You're
not mean
already
that I have
expressing
eluded
yourself.
my
It's okay.
audience. They've gotten
It's
my
okay. It's
drift.
okay. It's
Okay,
okay.
ma.
All right. And that was perfect, because yes, here's the thing, because if the two parties are not, if they're not properly prepared, actually, even the person who I say that, even if I were saying my partner is doing this, bad, 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 something tells everyone that I was not even properly prepared to properly vet that person. So it is still both of us who were missing something. It is still both of us who are missing something. So please continue. Who is going next? Yeah. And remember, this is just the beginning of what she was saying. You didn't hear the rest of it, right? Because I can assure you that the whole thing, I wouldn't do that. I can assure you that the
No, I
whole
don't know.
purpose of that,
I don't know that.
that
I don't know that part
conversation,
of you.
it's okay. It
Oh,
doesn't matter what you think of me. What I am is what I am. So, but I tell you that
I don't know. Too.
the conversation was not
Okay.
meant to make people accuse men, because it wasn't one person that was talking there. It was two people that were talking, and that was just about 5 minutes or three or so of the conversation. You haven't heard the rest of it, and it's there, so you can play it
Okay.
later.
yeah,
Yeah,
but there's a perspective I see coming from the lady we listen to,
I agree with
which
you.
is which is the perspective of these women who see themselves as teachers of the Bible, and to a large extent, a lot of men are becoming sensitive to what they are
The
bringing to the
judgment.
table. To what they are bringing, I don't want to use the word judgment. I mean, I'm intentional.
Okay.
We are becoming sensitive to what they are bringing to the table. Some of them are too knowledgeable that they cannot bend down and run a home. They come critical. They come, since you know the role of a man so much, why don't you become that man?
Mm,
Who
absolutely.
are you, a judge, or are you a recipient of judgment? Or what are you?
That
If
makes
you
sense.
allow if you allow me to talk to that lady, you will not like what I will say.
But you actually want us to be enlightened, right? That's all we want. So
No, you see, what I'm saying is that I have heard the tone of her language. Eh? Her language is not conciliatory. I cannot see humility in that person. And those are some of the fundamental issues in the marriages. When a wife becomes a teacher or a coach or I don't know what other word to use. Yeah. Why don't you play your own role and let the man learn his own role? And can I also tell you with this? I speak with a sense of responsibility. A lot of our conversations are utopian. Let me tell you why I say it's utopian. This life, Ceteris paribus, is a lie. It can never happen. All things can never be equal.
Definitely.
So we are coming from the angle of dealing with biases, dealing with emotional challenges, dealing with where one partner is faltering or where the two are faltering. What can we do to bring them up? So I become sensitive when I hear one person pushing too hard. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
yeah.
I'm communicating something.
Mm,
Perfectly. Yes, sir. Yes.
yes. Tony, how about you? Can
Um,
you actually respond to what? Yeah. Okay. Maybe a little bit on the lady and then what Bishop said.
oh, I felt as a start to the conversation, um, it would be it would have been nice to have a more to for balance to hear a perspective from a woman and a perspective from a man. Because
Mm.
Yes.
when you start with a perspective from one gender. I mean, this is not a gender war. It's almost
Mhm.
like this is the tone of the conversation you want to have. And we want to have conversations based on real life issues as it
Yeah.
affects men and as it affects women, not just a one
Okay. May I
sided
quickly say something, please?
conversation. Yes.
In I will apologize for having made a wrong call on that. That was a wrong call because here's what happened. I didn't actually go to seek, hey, let me hear what you have to say about this. Honestly, I didn't. We were just talking. Conversation was going on, and I was like, can I record this conversation? And they said yes. Honestly, that was what happened. And there was no man right there. And so I just took it and I was like, okay, I'm going to play it. And the reason I did so was because the person had been saying something about forgiveness. And I was like, Bishop was saying something about forgiveness on the part of women. So then, as soon as I heard that, I was like, can I record this conversation? And they said yes. And that's what happened. And now I admit that thinking about it, presenting it that way, it actually makes it look as if, okay, here is the direction in which we should go. So the
Yeah.
more sensible thing to do is to provide two from a man and a
Sides.
woman and start off like that. So I totally apologize, please.
Noted. Well taken. Well taken. So
Noted. No.
moving forward from this point, like I said earlier, we are trying to, the word pulpit has a meaning. The word pulpit has a meaning. The meaning of the word pulpit is that men are in a pit and you're trying to pull them up and out of the pit. That's what life is all about. Much as we expect that everything is well, it will never be. So we keep narrowing the gap between what is and what should be. That's the game of life. Yeah. So there are. I'm not saying that what that lady said is wrong, oh, because as a matter of fact, the girl child begins to think about marriage almost less than 5 years, begins to get exposed to thoughts about family life. I think I sent you a video where one young girl that was 4 years was telling her daddy, said that when I'm walking down the aisle, make sure you keep quiet. Don't call my name because I won't answer you. At age 5, you're already considering walking down the aisle and trying to inform your dad that when I'm walking down as your daughter, make sure you don't say anything because you shouldn't distract me. Now, even a boy that is 20 years will not be thinking about that. So you find that the preparations for marriage, for family life in the girl child is much more than the man. As a matter of fact, even amongst your friends, I was listening to a comedian. He said that the way women think about marriage is different from the way men think. That when it comes to men, it's like you caught a certain disease. Oh, have you heard that Richard is getting married? Oh, when did that happen to him?
Thank you for observing that. I appreciate the observation you made when you said that you're not saying that what she said is wrong. I appreciate that
No, it's not.
because I know that the person might be sensitive. Yes,
She
I
has some.
appreciate that you actually said it because it's true what she said.
Yeah,
Except that what you are referring
of
to
course, yes.
is the impression that it will be creating at the beginning of our conversation and then taking it in that direction, right? Yeah, thank
Yes,
you. And so,
yes,
lady, I'm sure you can hear
yes.
this. So, yeah, which is the truth.
The man needs to learn more. The present day man, especially in our African setting, needs a lot of education on family life. It's a reality.
Yeah.
Now,
Actually, it's not
we
just the
need to be
Africans.
educated.
Here.
It's more here. It's more here
Here, all the
because
different races here,
the
Asian, Caucasian,
no
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Women are always
no
going to find
no
out.
let
Men are always sitting back, and it's the same thing.
no let me tell you why I say there's a difference. In Africa, the man is the chief. The man is sitting in his throne. The man is somebody that they bring everything to his beck and call. But in your society, I know a man went to America in the house of his son and his wife, and he had to wash his plates after eating. The man said, I'm going back to Nigeria. I don't want to be there. The whole of me going to wash plates. Can you
Bishop,
imagine that?
everything is relative. There are other aspects where when it's off here, it's added here. It's that's how it is.
I, I see your point, but also get what I'm saying.
Culturally,
There are certain,
yeah,
culturally, there are certain mannerisms that
yes,
are alien to us in
yes.
Africa.
Okay.
That's really the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah.
So we need to hear more about marriage, educating the male child, getting people to understand that you are not an Oba seated on your throne while your wife is just somebody that should hold the
And
plate while
serve
you're
you.
eating. Not even serving you is nice. I'm talking about holding the plate while you're eating, kneeling down.
Okay.
That's our foundation. So we need to be educated to see that life is changing and realities are changing. And especially these are days that the woman is becoming more financially free.
Bishop,
If there are 11 Nigerian
Bishop, sir.
banks, if there are 11 Nigerian banks, about 6 of them have 5 women managing directors. 6 women. I'm talking about MD of banks.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Okay, so the
Bishop.
woman. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes. So sorry to cut you. That the action of talking about manning his post and then being a king in his kingdom and being domineering. I mean, alpha, martial, and all that. It is not an African thing. It is something that we could be tagged humanity, not a cultural, it's not limited to an African thing. Because if you study the old English, that used to be their way of life. Over time, they evolve. You understand? Even in Asia, they see parties that up till tomorrow. I have lived in some part of Asia. I know how they. In fact, I feel in southern part of Nigeria that we even honor our women more than a lot of parts of the Asian countries. You understand what I'm saying, sir? So what I just want to point it out that it is not like an African thing. It's just the fact that others have evolved while some of us are still
That's
evolving.
the point. That's the point. Evolution has happened better in some cultures than others.
Okay.
For instance, there's something I read about. There's something I read about the Protestant theory, or is it theory? Yeah.
And if
Why?
you're here, let's hear
Why is it
your
that
your opinion on the matter and give us a thumbs up on the video. Sorry for interrupting. Yeah.
okay? The Protestant lifestyle. Um, why is it that the Marshall Plan worked in Europe and is failing in Africa? You know what the Marshall Plan is?
What's that?
Rebuilding
No.
of Europe after the Second World War.
Okay.
A general in the American army suggested that they rebuild Europe. The amount of money America invested in rebuilding Europe after the World War was about $550 billion. Now, between 1958 and today, nations like Nigeria have spent more than twice that amount, and still there's no development. Why is it so? They say that the reason why the Marshall Plan has not worked in a lot of African nations is because there is a Protestant lifestyle that the African does not know. So, in other societies, for instance, the Englishman, this thing you're saying is proper for an Englishman, but the Englishman through education has come to learn how to honor a woman, open the door for her to enter. Way back in the days of Wild West, it used to be different. Now, we have not developed to that extent in Africa, especially our Nigeria. So what I'm saying is that this concept of educating the male child should actually keep seeping in because it is helping that acculturation and therefore learning. That's just what I'm bringing to the
Yes,
table.
and I agree, Bishop, because context really, really matters in any
Yes,
conversation. I took a
yes.
class, I taught a class, a 2 hour class before I came into this podcast to students of the Electoral
Mhm.
College, Nigeria. And we were looking at democracy and how it's practiced in different parts of the world. The argument isn't whether democracy is the best form of government there is. I mean, the fact that 195 of the 195 countries of the world, 167 practice democracy suggests that in comparison to other forms of government, it protects more the right of majority of the people and offer prosperity for most of the citizens. But
Mhm.
democracy as it's practiced, is it ideal for every people, every country, everywhere? I personally do not think so. Because culture,
Okay.
the way of life of the people matters. And so a template that works perfectly in one environment with lots of benefits may not offer as much benefits. That same template, if you copy it hook, line, and sinker, or do copy and paste, may not offer another set of people the same benefits because of context. So this is just to, support the assertion that context matters when we are discussing any topic. And I agree that when it comes to how people in Africa um, conceive the role of a man within a marriage, compared to the West, we're still stuck. A lot of African people are still stuck in the idea of a man as the alpha and omega when it comes to a home. It's almost like a lord servant relationship. And so the education that you speak about is something that is very, very important. The West, as you rightly observed, as Shea also observed, has evolved over the years. The role of the man within the marriage is changing or has changed a lot. And we are not there yet. And so we need to talk about this, cultural habits and how those habits might be posing a challenge in how marriage is today and the enjoyment of marriage and the problems that we see today. That's very, very, very important. So I just thought to highlight that.
Okay. And while we're at that, what you just said now, the last bit you said, I can already hear them saying, the naysayers, I can already hear them saying, you talk about the enjoyment of marriage because people have now understood this and that. How about all those things that we're hearing that all those things that we're hearing happening over there, where the people that you're saying are enjoying it, they are the ones who no longer want marriage. That's what they're going to say.
The
So
divorce rate is higher.
that's what I'm going
Yes.
to say. So can we just take it back to where here's what I think though. This is what I think. At every point in time when someone is doing something, what they're doing it because they believe that this is what will ensure that they achieve the the thing that they're trying to achieve. That's the bottom line. Whether you're doing something right or wrong, the reason you're doing it is because you believe that this is what will take you to the thing that you're trying to achieve. Now, what we now fail to pay attention to is that nature abhors a vacuum, and that if you're doing something that is affecting other people, uh, impacting them in a way that doesn't favor them, they're going to have a response to it. So, do you think that their brains are going to go to sleep while you're trying to achieve your own aims? Their brains will not go to sleep. They're going to respond to it. I'll just say that and leave that. And I would like to remind you, Tony, you were saying something about what the lady said. I don't know if you want to finish it before I interrupted you. I'm sorry about that earlier.
No, I like Bishop said, I also see the merits in the lady's position, and it goes both ways, really. The expectations that we have of men in a partnership, a marriage, a relationship. Um, we also have similar expectations of women. While, there's a saying that men are from Mars, women are from Venus. There are actually books like this. And what those books try to do is to show that men are made in a certain way and think in a certain way that is distinctively different from how women are made and think and how they process things. While I understand that these differences exist in our makeup and lenses, and ways of processing events, there's also a lot that we have in common, and the things that we're saying we expect of the men, those things the men also expect of the women. Earlier on in my marriage, um, one of the issues that I had was when it came to sex and intimacy, I was the one always initiating. And if I don't initiate, I good day two was nothing, right? Um, because women have been made to believe that it is the role of the man to be chastened. But the truth is, I also want to feel adored. I want to be chased. I want to be made to feel special. So, in that regard, we're not so much different. So, when we're asking things of men, let us also think that those things that we want of men, the men also want those things of the women. So, when we
Tony,
speak,
Tony, Tony.
yes,
Hello, Tony. Can you hear me, sir?
yes, Shaya, I can hear you.
You never consulted me before reaching that hasty conclusion. I don't bother, don't chase me. I will chase him. My own no hard. I don't get that time.
May I say something, please? May I say something?
Okay.
Okay.
And there are things that we may not be paying. Okay, so the way that life is evolving, that I'll use a personal observation for myself, for my own life. I grew up as a lot of even people, even some people older than me, believing in and seeing the women's liberation thing. And that has also added to the problems that we have in relationships. Because I know that naturally, um, maybe naturally or maybe social, maybe sociologically, we have been socialized to believe that the man is the leader, right? Even if we know it in our subconscious that the man is the leader. But because we keep on hearing that men oppress, men oppress, men oppress, and then the women liberation, this is what gave rise to women now, the strong woman. Remember that strong woman term? It's like she does not want to to be oppressed. So now some women now take an extreme, it's like overcompensating when you
The
feel like,
independent woman
yeah, syndrome.
narrative, or
Yeah.
yes, right.
When you feel like if I just keep quiet now, if I don't do this now, if I allow them, they're going to oppress me. And a lot of us fell into that thing where you'll be talking with men and you feel like I must not make them feel that just because I'm a woman, just like Bishop has said
You
now that
become
there are so
reactive.
many
You
there are so
become
many
very
women
reactive.
CEOs, and
Mm.
that is overcompensating. And so I think that it gets women to even be triggered to do things that they would ordinarily not do if they were not in that mindset of they're oppressing me. They're oppressing me. And this is the reason why I really do not like us to talk about um, when people say or send me things where women are always being oppressed, they're always being put in the back, they're always being I'm like, stop it, stop it, stop it. We need to stop those things, because if we feed those things into the environment, when people already have the impression that women are always being oppressed, you feel as if you're a victim. Once you feel like a victim, you become a more difficult person to handle, because you become antagonistic, you become unfriendly. The tiniest thing that the man does, you feel as if, oh, there he goes now, he's trying to oppress me. And then you begin to, be unfriendly.
You
So,
become reactive.
Can I?
yeah.
Can, yeah.
Sorry.
Yes,
Can I
Bishop.
say
I
something
need
there?
to, based on, in consonant with what you just talked about, you understand? An independent woman, and then let me blend it with cum feminism. You understand now? My question is, how do we, it's beginning to be like, to me, feminism or independent woman is an unchecked
Menace.
madness
Yeah.
in quote now, is
No,
unchecked. How do we
no,
draw
no.
the line?
Share, hold on.
Okay, sir.
Share, hold on. Before we
Okay.
come to that, we'll
Okay,
come to
sir.
that. But there's something I want us to bring out.
All right, sir.
Uh,
Oh, I think power went out at Bishop's.
Oh dear. Okay. Maybe this
okay,
is that
okay,
was the break that we needed.
okay.
He's
You can
there.
hear me
He's there.
Okay,
He's
Bishop is
back.
back.
Bishop is back.
now. See,
Uh, can I just say
first,
something? Right after Bishop delivers this, let's close this. We'll go away and bring it back for the audience later. Right? So,
okay. First
yeah.
of all, taking it from the points that Tony made,
Introduction.
the point that Tony made about what feeling like being chased sometimes as well, right? I want to say that it takes an understanding, which is why I'm pushing for education. Education is not just going to school. Information. A woman's cosmology is different. How she expresses affection is different. If you are an experienced person, there are certain women who express love in the form of serving you food. I went out of my way to prepare a meal for you. This is her love language.
Okay.
So, so you that is waiting for the bedtime, you're not reading her right. I pray you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So a woman's body language, a woman's love language, a woman's even show of can we have fellowship tonight? She has her own language. That's why she's a woman. She's not a man. So it takes this education to learn her own ways and to understand how she can be appealed to and how she's appealing to you. So even what you're saying that she's not expressive, it's not that you've not explored the whole spectrum. That's the first thing I'd like to
Okay.
observe.
I'd like
The-
to
the-
respond to that later, but yes, please
okay,
finish.
okay. Then the second aspect of this conversation is the African thing, and I am saying that we also need to understand that dynamics of culture is shifting. When the African man was the de facto leader in the home, the woman was merely somebody that helps to carry pan. But today, in fact, lots of women are becoming graduates, becoming financially independent, becoming cheerleaders in various platforms. So if you approach a woman today from the angle of sit down there, let me say what I'm saying, you lose her. Yeah. And to be very honest with us, somebody mentioned about the divorce rate in the West. And I'm saying it is the same educational exposure, hyper education amongst the women that is bringing this freedom of expression, freedom of information, freedom to be who I want to be. Very successful women don't want anybody bossing them around. If it is to sleep with a man, he can find any man to sleep with and pay for it and move on. I have a lady here in Lagos that
She's
she
paying
wants
you.
to, yes, told me
She's
personally.
paying you.
A lady here in Lagos told me that she wants to have a baby without
With
being
you?
married. I said, are you crazy?
Okay.
How are you going to do that? She told me that there's a sperm bank.
Oh, okay.
You go to the sperm bank, you buy a sperm, and you insert it into a woman's fallopian tube. And this lady had a male child that's almost 4 years now
Mm-hmm.
from this concept. So we need to understand that there's a threat to the role of a man. Oh. Let's
Uh,
let's not fool around too much because society is advancing at a very dangerous rate. Those are the three
I,
points I just need to bring to the table.
isn't it
Okay.
the same? Isn't it
Before
the
we
same thing with
close,
children? Children feeling like I can say and do anything now. It's the same thing. Like that's
That
feeling
that's
of
that's another
I know my
aspect of
right.
it.
Mhm.
That's
It's all
another
part of it.
aspect.
So
That's
but
another.
I think yeah, I think that so all we need to understand is if you deal with we should just deal with each other fairly. If you don't think that I'm in a superior position and I can treat you just the way that I feel, and you're not going to have a response to it.
exactly. Please, before we go, just to respond to something Bishop said earlier, because that was, directly related to what I had shared. Um, when I say that, and this may not be me, this may be any man, um, wants to be
God's
approached
time.
by a woman in the same manner the woman would
Sorry.
want her to approach him to approach her. What I am
What's happening now?
really, really saying is that instead of being stuck to ways that we have always done things and being rigid about this is how um, I have always done things, this is how I see things. The whole idea of a relationship is that we learn about each other and we are so um, concerned about the other person's happiness and enjoyment, not at the detriment of ours, of course, that we are willing to make certain changes
I don't know
or
what is
take certain
happening.
steps just to make their lives better. As the woman expects it of the man, so does the man expect it of the woman. If we continue to feed the narrative that this is the way I am, this is the way a man is, this is the way a woman is, this is the roots of the
of
problem.
the problems.
And then when we talk about men, and
And
Bishop said
Tony,
that. Oh, sorry, Shaya,
Tony.
let me finish. I have to finish
No,
this,
before you
Shaya.
go to the
Sorry.
second
No, no,
one,
I have to
I
finish
want
this. I
clarity.
don't want to lose my train of thought. Sorry, Shaya. You have your say. When we say women don't want to be bossed around, why do you want to boss another person around? Why? A relationship is a partnership. It's a union of equals. So if a man, whether a man from the jungle ages or a modern man, still believes that he is in a position to boss a woman around, then it needs to have a reorientation. Because again, this is a partnership. This is about two people. And we should be seeking the, if we say we love somebody, we should be willing to do things that would make them happy. Of course, not abandoning ourselves in the process. And I think that is the genesis of a lot of the problems that we have. There's nothing wrong with being an independent woman. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being an independent woman. But if you're an independent woman and you're interested in a relationship with a man, then you should be able to do certain things that the man considers important, things that don't take away from your dignity as a person, not just a human, not just a woman, but as a person. Relationships, marriage is give and take. And if we stay stuck on certain positions, that is why we'll continue to have problems. If we are not willing to bend, bend a bit, just so that our lives with this person will be mutually fulfilling, then we will continue to have all of this problem. If we see ourselves as competition, always competing, who is the head, who is the better one, who is this, we will continue to have these problems. I'll stop for now.
Shaya, were you going to say something?
Anyway, he had said something that will make me discard whatever I want to say before. Is that one is very, very infinitesimal compared to what he has said. You understand? In the process of trying to fit in or being politically correct, we should be very, very careful. Now, we are not equal, man and woman. I don't know the the origin of that ideology. We are not equal, and I'm going to come to that. The truth of the matter is this: if there's love, you don't fight as regard to status or command or control. Why would you want to
You're
have
saying,
control if
are you
there's
not going
truly love? Now, hold on, please allow me so that you get the drift. Go and check it. If any animal whatsoever wants to attack any family member, first of all, they go after the kids. That's number one. Do you get the drift? Number two, the second option in the absence of the kids will be the woman, not the man. Go and observe. The last person to be attacked will be the man. Now, if armed robbers should come to a house, they will not go for the woman or the kids. They want to disarm the man first because they know that naturally a man is protective of his territory. The word kingdom has to do with king and the dom and his domineering and his domination and his dom. So you do not tell me that because one queen of England is controlling that English people, that we have, of course, in Yoruba land we have history of women being brave, but then they still manage it with, there's balance. So there's nothing like equity. No, not equity, sorry. Equality or what do you call it now? That we have equal rights. No.
Are you
That's the truth.
invariably saying
There
men
must
are
be one
superior to
pilot.
women? Is that what you are saying?
No, that's not my point. I've
So
just
what is the
I've just
point?
I've just
Please make
emphasized
your
it by
point
telling
clearly.
you that the role, allow me, sir. I'm just emphasizing by saying the role does not interchange. You get what I'm saying? There's some period that a man will find himself. Now, let me tell you this personal thing. Do you know what happened? Armed robber came to not our house. When we were younger, they came to our environment. You know the way it is, and when it's dead in the night and then gunshot and everything. My dad ran to where we were, woke us up and like, we should be praying. And my mother told him, said, leave my children alone. I've always been praying over the night. We'll wake you, answer us. Let them sleep. Nothing will happen to us. That kind of words, in fact, the way it's like pouring cold water on it. You understand? Everyone, we were calm and we slept. When we woke up, we were laughing about it. What am I trying to say? At that moment, my father was melting, but the mom stepped in. That's the role of a woman. Now, let me tell you, to carry a child, no man.
You are good.
Go
Hello,
ahead
can
now.
you hear me?
We can hear
Yeah.
you.
Okay, I'm saying, you see, in a man, in a woman, there's a trait of man in woman, there's a trait of woman in man. Is so easy. Look at how difficult is it to push a child or to carry a child for 9 months. At a particular point, they said when is it time for a woman to deliver, it's like crushing 14 bones. I have broken my thigh once. I had an accident. She knows about it. I know how I felt. You understand? Up till now, if I work out too hard, I'll still have that pain. Now imagine crushing 14 bones. That's not to tell you that a woman is weak. No. But we are talking about protocol here.
May I
Look
just
at
end this
Jesus.
thing? Just a
Let
moment.
me let me end it now. Just let me end it. Let me run
Because
it off.
no, I don't want you
Jesus.
to. I like what you're saying. I don't want us to miss it, but the video is getting too long. So we'll continue it and I'll just bring it out for the audience later. So just continue. So in the meantime, I'm just going to say, let's say bye-bye to the audience while we go behind the studio. Can we do that? Right.
Bye
I'm
bye.
Okay.
so sorry. And I'm so sorry, Share, that I cut it there because I realized that the time is going on for so long.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank
All
you,
right. All
everyone.
right. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for being with us so far and continue this conversation with us. We're just going to cut it publicly right now and bring it back later. So stay tuned for the continuation.